were doing quite okay. Huh? Because the first couple of hours we were doing only 5 or 6. We're about 50 miles off the Moroccan coast and going straight at Lanzarote. Straight ahead. They had to take the speed down. It's something spectacular, but we're gonna find out later what happened exactly. Yeah, there's a fast catamaran all the time just alongside us. Okay. We are sailing with the jib now as well as A2 Snap. Well, not the A2 itself, but connection of the sock with the top of the sail. Well, somehow just came loose, and then the sail was dragging on the side of the boat. The three of us were able to put it in the bow compartment. But there wasn't even that much wind at that time, so it just kind of. Well, let's investigate first what happened there. Today we are averaging 9 knots. The wind should be the same for the rest of the journey. That's at least what Predict Wind expects. And that would mean that we can stay on this heading for the rest of the time. It's 400 miles to go.
We are pretty much alone on the ocean, but still when you look at the BNG, we always had some boats on the transponder. So you never felt really alone. But when you put a drone in the air and you see only yourself on this big ocean, then you think, oh my God, we're still alone.
Goedemorgen, kapitein.
Goedemorgen.
Zit je lekker? Zal ik het scherm ook even voor je draaien?
Nee, ik zit daar niet lekker.
Ja? Is het makkelijker? Let's try steering by hand. starting to catch the boats that left earlier. We already passed Grandma, and that could be chaps. Took away the downwind Spinnaker. I think it furled well this time, and we exchanged it for the Soland.
Mark and I will always have discussion before the night, because I want to take the big sails off and go in the night safely with only the main and jib. But it's difficult for me to win this discussion because he can be very persuasive.
We furled the downwind Spinnaker and put the jib up as well. And so we did have a quiet night. Well, it was up to 24 knots, Moroccan said. But the waves are annoying again. It does enable us, however, to start the next video. 150 miles to go, so we will probably end up there in the middle of the night. Now we're just on the edge of a cloud that gives a little bit of extra wind, and that helps. Last night we were using the jib, but this morning Moroccan and I put downwind Spinnaker back, and that gives us another couple of knots. There's a darker cloud over there, and on the horizon, let me see, there, it's impossible to see. It's impossible. 2 times without a problem rolling in. When we rolled it in, we didn't put jib in front to keep more pressure in the sail, and when I was releasing it here, I also pushed on the sheet, so pushing it down, and we rolled it in 155, 160 degrees. When we did it, we had 17, 18 knots of wind. Let's keep a log and try to find out how to deal with it exactly. The waves are much smaller than yesterday. It's a reason, I guess, that we were going well, clearly over 10 knots on average this morning in only 15 knots of wind. Now we have more wind, but we're not going faster. That's kind of strange. Well, maybe because Moroccan steered a bit down. We were on a 140 angle this morning, and we're now 145. And every degree counts, we noticed in the meantime. We're kind of used to sail straight at our destination, which on the lagoon in most cases was the smart thing to do. Well, we have some time here crossing from Sevilla to the Canaries, and we are deliberately steering up a little bit more now to increase the speed significantly, and we're closely watching the VMG. When we go 130, the VMG is still a little bit higher than before, even though we are 13 degrees, 12 degrees off target now. The difference between steering on autopilot and manual steering, I would estimate half a knot to a knot. Well, on the other hand, the wind graph looks about the same. Maybe it's just bullshit. Impossible. It's going 8 knots as well.
So we're going to try out about the Spinnaker now because it's difficult to go exactly to our waypoint with the downwind Spinnaker. So we're going to try to go more downwind with the Spinnaker, and then it's also good practice for the ocean crossing because we have exactly the same conditions now.
We wanted to reef the main in order to stabilize the symmetrical Spinnaker. The thingy broke off. Kind of strange in 10 knots of wind, but we tied the deck of the sail to the gooseneck. But now we found out that if this cap is off, then the bolt holding the boom to the mast can just fall out of there. Well, it's all Captain Sea, of course, and we should have known and blah 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 blah. But I'm really happy nothing serious happened and nobody got injured, because this could have ended totally wrong. So as a result, we are testing now the Spinnaker without the main, and it's much more stable. That's for sure.
In combination with the mainsail, the Spinnaker is very unstable. We decided to take away the whole main and go only on the Spinnaker. And that was very good practice because we found out that the Spinnaker without the main was perfectly stable. It was a very relaxed sail. We could go straight to the waypoint. We didn't have to adjust the sail a lot, even when the wind was turning a little bit from... I think the wind was turning like 20-25 degrees constantly, and that didn't bother the sail at all. Above 15 knots, between 15 and 20 knots, we have a very decent speed only with the Spinnaker. So I think in the passat winds it will be totally fine to run the Spinnaker alone. Mark chose a very calm and relaxing piece of music under these images, and I think that's actually exactly how we felt during this part of the trip. It was an extremely nice and relaxed last day.
So it's Spinnaker only, almost there.
We decided to take the Spinnaker down a couple of miles before we would enter the strait between Graciosa and Lanzarote, because we had no experience until that time how we would manage to take the Spinnaker in without a mainsail. But luckily that went pretty well. There was not a lot of wind, it was around 15 knots, 13, 15 knots. So we have good hope that even in more winds it will not be a problem to collapse the Spinnaker and take the snuffer down.
So anchored here next to Vitamin, pretty busy on the anchorage, anchoring in a bit over 16 meters.
In the next episode we will relax on Graciosa and on Lanzarote.